In December 2021, in packed theaters across the planet, a portal opened on screen. And when a 38-year-old man in a faded red and blue suit stepped through it, something happened that box office numbers cannot measure. Grown adults stood up and screamed. People cried. In some theaters, the film had to be paused because nobody could hear the dialogue. Tom Holland was standing right there, the actual Spider-Man of this generation. Andrew Garfield got his cheer too. But the roof did not come off the building until Tobey Maguire appeared. 3 men have worn the mask. One is the most athletic. One is the most successful. But only one is immortal. And today we are going to prove, with facts, not feelings, why Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man will never ever be replaced. To understand why Tobey matters, you have to understand what the world looked like in 2002. There was no Marvel Cinematic Universe, no Avengers, no superhero industrial complex releasing 4 films a year. Comic book movies were a joke in Hollywood. Batman and Robin had killed the genre 5 years earlier, and studio executives treated capes like poison. And then, in May of 2002, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man opened and made $114 million in 3 days. The first film in history to cross $100 million in a single opening weekend. Not the first superhero film. The first film, period. America was still bleeding from September 11th. New York was a wounded city. And here came a movie about a kid from Queens, an ordinary, broke, awkward kid, protecting that exact city. There is a scene where ordinary New Yorkers throw garbage at the Green Goblin from a bridge and shout that if you mess with one of them, you mess with all of them. Audiences in 2002 wept at that scene. Spider-Man was not just a movie that year. It was therapy for a nation. Tom Holland inherited a machine. Andrew Garfield inherited a franchise. Tobey Maguire built the machine. In a world that did not believe it could exist. Now let's talk about the thing that actually separates the 3 Peters. Not the suits, not the villains, the character. Tom Holland's Peter Parker is a genius kid with a billionaire mentor, a best friend who builds his tech, and a suit worth more than a fighter jet. Andrew Garfield's Peter is a cool, skateboarding, leather jacket-wearing outsider who somehow looks like a model. Tobey's Peter Parker was a loser. And that is not an insult. It is the entire point. He got bullied and did not win the fight. He delivered pizzas and got fired. He wrestled in a cage for $100 and got cheated out of the money. He loved a girl for his whole life and watched her date other men. He lived in a 1-room apartment with a broken door, behind on rent, while the landlord's daughter offered him cake because she felt sorry for him. Stan Lee created Spider-Man in 1962 on one radical idea, that under the mask he could be you, not a billionaire, not a god, not a chosen one. You. Tobey Maguire is the only actor who fully committed to that idea. He played Peter with slumped shoulders, awkward pauses, glasses sliding down his nose. A young man for whom being Spider-Man was not an upgrade to his life, but a burden that destroyed it. When Tobey's Peter says, "With great power comes great responsibility," you believe it because you watched responsibility cost him everything: the girl, the money, the friendship, the normal life. That is why his Spider-Man endures. Holland's Peter wants to be an Avenger. Garfield's Peter wants answers about his parents. Tobey's Peter just wants to pay rent and love Mary Jane, and gives it all up anyway. That is not a superhero. That is the most human character in superhero history. Every Spider-Man era has good scenes. Tobey's era has monuments. The upside-down kiss. 2002, a rain-soaked alley. Spider-Man hanging inverted as Mary Jane peels back his mask. It has been referenced, parodied, and recreated for 24 years. One of the most famous kisses in the history of cinema. And here is the brutal truth behind it. Rain was pouring directly into Tobey's nose while he hung upside down. He could barely breathe through the entire take. What looks like the most romantic moment of the decade was an actor quietly suffocating and committing anyway. The train scene. Spider-Man 2, 2004. Widely called the greatest superhero film of its generation. Doc Ock destroys the brakes of an elevated train, and Peter, mask ripped away, stretches his entire body to stop it. Webb screaming. Seams of his suit tearing until he collapses unconscious. And then the passengers catch him. They carry him overhead like a fallen soldier, gently, silently. And when they see his face, a kid says, "He's just a kid, no older than my son." Then they stand between him and Doc Ock. No quips. No CGI army. No skybeam. Just a city protecting the boy who protects them. 21 years later, no superhero scene has ever touched it. And Uncle Ben's death. Cliff Robertson's "with great power comes great responsibility" is not just a movie line anymore. It is a phrase your grandmother knows. That is Tobey's era. It did not create scenes, it created culture. Now, let's be fair, because this is not about tearing the other two down. Andrew Garfield might be the best pure actor to ever wear the suit. His Spider-Man moved like the comic panels come to life. The crouches, the web-slinging physics, the mid-air jokes. And the scene where he saves a little boy on the bridge, telling him to put on the mask to be brave, is one of the most beautiful Spider-Man moments ever filmed. Garfield's tragedy was timing. Trapped in a rushed franchise, rewritten scripts, and a studio at war with itself. In No Way Home, when he caught MJ and saved the girl he could not save in his own films, the whole world finally gave him the love he deserved. And Tom Holland is, honestly, the most accurate teenage Peter Parker ever put on screen. The babbling, the youth, the heart. 6 films, billions of dollars, a generation of kids who will defend him forever. No Way Home made nearly $2 billion. Tobey never touched numbers like that. But here is the fatal flaw. And it is not Holland's fault. His Peter was built on Tony Stark. The suit was Stark's. The tech was Stark's. The arc was Stark's. For 3 films, he was Iron Man Jr. And only in No Way Home, after losing everything, did he finally become the broke, alone, self-made Spider-Man that Tobey had been from minute one, back in 2002. In other words, Tom Holland's entire journey was becoming Tobey Maguire's starting point. And here is the part of Tobey's story most fans never knew. Before Spider-Man 2, Tobey filmed Seabiscuit and injured his back so badly that the studio panicked. There were serious doubts he could handle the physical demands of the sequel. Sony began quietly moving on. Jake Gyllenhaal, who was dating Kirsten Dunst at the time, was fitted for the suit. Meetings happened. The replacement was that close to real. Tobey fought for it. He proved his body could take it. He kept the mask and went on to make the greatest superhero film of his era while managing chronic back pain through every stunt. Think about that. The most iconic Spider-Man performance of all time almost did not happen. And the man delivered it in pain. Which brings us back to that theater in December 2021. No Way Home was Tom Holland's movie, his trilogy, his ending, and yet the loudest moment, the moment that broke theater speakers around the world, belonged to a 38-year-old man stepping through a portal after 14 years away. That reaction was not marketing. You cannot buy it. It was 20 years of memory detonating at once. Every kid who grew up on the Raimi films, every pizza time, every Bully Maguire meme that kept his Peter alive on the internet for a decade after the trilogy ended. The internet did not meme Garfield's Peter into immortality. It did not meme Holland's. It chose Tobey because his Peter Parker, awkward and sincere and completely uncool, is endlessly lovingly human. Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man. Tom Holland is the best Peter in high school. But Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man. the definitive article. The one the others are measured against, the reason the genre exists at all. This month, Tom Holland returns in Brand New Day. Older, alone, finally the self-made Spider-Man. And honestly, it looks incredible. The student is finally walking the road the original paved. But when the history of this character is written, it will say this: in 2002, when nobody believed in superheroes, a quiet kid from Santa Monica put on a mask, hung, upside down in the rain, barely able to breathe, and made the whole world believe a man could swing. The others wear the suit. Tobey Maguire is the reason it means something. If you grew up with the Raimi films, hit subscribe. Because next time, we are breaking down every hidden detail in Spider-Man Brand New Day the week it releases. Pizza time.